In this video, we will discuss the process to obtain the required federal, state, and local withholding accounts, as well as new hire reporting requirements when a business is hiring Pennsylvania-based employees for the first time. First, upon hiring an employee, you should request a completed and signed Form W-4, a completed and signed I-9 and eligibility verification, and a completed and signed residency certification form. Next, for federal purposes, a business hiring employees must have a federal employer identification number referred to as an EIN or FEIN. If you do not yet have an EIN, you can apply for one electronically at www.irs.gov. An employer will then withhold and remit federal income tax, Social Security tax, Medicare tax, and federal unemployment tax. The amount of federal income tax withholding for each employee is based on information provided on their completed W-4 form. The Social Security tax withholding rate is 6.2% from the employee and 6.2% from the employer, for a total of 12.4%. The amount of yearly taxable wages for federal Social Security tax is capped at $147,000 per employee. The Medicare tax rate is 1.45% from the employee and 1.45% from the employer for a total of 2.9%. Additionally, employers should withhold Medicare tax at 0.9% for wages they pay an employee in excess of $200,000. There is no taxable wage base, meaning all wages are subject to Medicare tax. The federal unemployment tax rate is 6%, which is paid by the employer. The amount of yearly taxable wages for federal unemployment is capped at $7,000 per employee. However, generally, you can take a credit against your FUTA tax for amounts you paid into state unemployment funds. If you've paid wages subject to federal income tax, Social Security tax, and/or Medicare tax withholding, you must file Form 941 quarterly at www.eftps.gov/EFTPS using IRS approved tax software, even if you have no taxes to report. Though reports are filed quarterly, generally new employers will remit withholding payments monthly. Additionally, to report and pay federal unemployment electronically, file Form 940 quarterly at the same website using IRS approved tax software. For more information regarding federal employer taxes, please refer to IRS Publication 15, Employer's Tax Guide. For state purposes, it will be necessary to obtain a state employer withholding an unemployment compensation account, as well as workers' compensation coverage. Pennsylvania's employer withholding tax rate is a flat 3.07%. Employers should withhold and remit 3.07% of the employee's total gross wages. To file and pay employer withholding taxes, you will use the Department of Revenue's MyPath system at mypath.pa.gov. The unemployment contribution rate for 2023 for new non-construction employers is 3.8220%. For new construction employers, it is 10.5924%. The contribution rate is then multiplied by the taxable wages for each employee. The amount of yearly taxable wages for UC tax purposes is capped at $10,000 per employee. For example, if you have 5 employees, the maximum taxable wages for UC tax purposes would be $50,000. That's 5 employees times the $10,000 cap. If an employee makes less than $10,000 in a year, UC tax is paid on their total wages. In addition to the employer contribution, there is also an employee contribution required to be withheld and remitted by the employer. The employee contribution rate is 0.07% multiplied by the employee's total yearly gross wages. To file and pay UC tax, you will use the Department of Labor and Industry's Unemployment Compensation Management System at www.uctax.pa.gov. To obtain employer withholding and unemployment compensation accounts, complete the Pennsylvania Online Business Tax Registration using the Department of Revenue's MyPath system. For assistance with completing the Pennsylvania Online Business Tax Registration in MyPath, please refer to the video for obtaining business tax accounts in Pennsylvania. Workers' compensation can be obtained through a third-party insurer or directly through the State Workers Insurance Fund, referred to as SWIF, SWIF. Most new businesses have difficulty obtaining workers' compensation insurance through a third-party insurer because of their lack of experience. As a state agency, SWIF is required to provide coverage to all businesses, especially those having difficulty obtaining coverage from private sector insurers. To obtain workers' compensation coverage through SWIF, complete Form SWIF 429, Application for Workers' Compensation Insurance Coverage. In addition to SWIF 429, if you are a sole proprietor, partner in a partnership, or member of an LLC, complete SWIF 51, Voluntary Election of Coverage, to indicate your choice to accept or decline coverage. If you are a corporate officer and/or owner in a corporation choosing to waive your rights, complete and submit forms LIBC-509, Application for Executive Officer Exemption, and LIBC 513, Executive Officer's Declaration. For more information about SWIFT and to access the required forms, go to dli.pa.gov and click Learn About Workers' Compensation. On the following screen, scroll down and click State Workers Insurance Fund. Finally, click Application for Workers' Compensation Coverage form in the text in the middle of the screen. Additional forms can be found by clicking Workers' Compensation Forms under Resources on the right. In addition to federal and state withholding accounts and workers' compensation, you will also need to register to withhold and remit local earned income tax and the local services tax based on where your employees work and live. The combined rate for local earned income tax and the local service tax varies by municipality, but is typically between 1% and 3%. To determine your withholding rates and with whom to apply, you can use the Municipal Statistics Database. To start, go to munstats.pa.gov. Hover over Taxes and the menu options at the top of the page. In the drop-down menu, click Find Local Withholding Rates by Address. On the following page, enter the employee's home and work address. If the employee works from home, use the employee's home address for both home and work address. Click View Information. Click View Information. The resulting report provides the required EIT withholding rates and local services tax, as well as the proper contact to set up each account. This process should be completed for each employee to ensure you are set up to withhold and remit the proper local taxes. Finally, all employers doing business in Pennsylvania, regardless of their industry, occupation, profit status, or size, must report information on their new hires if the individual is considered an employee for the purposes of federal income tax withholding. This includes employees of any age, those working less than a full day, those in a probationary employment period, part-time and seasonal employees, employees in a current layoff status or requested leave of absence without pay for a period of greater than 30 days. An employer must report their new hire employees' information to the Pennsylvania New Hire Reporting Program no later than 20 days from the date of hire, which is the date upon which the employee first performed services for wages or other compensation. Through the program homepage within the Pennsylvania CareerLink website, employers may report their new hires securely and accurately. Multiple convenient methods of reporting the information are available to employers, including data entry within the website, upload of a file of new hire reports, upload of a file by secure file transfer protocol. To get started, go to business.pa.gov and click Operate. On the left side of the screen, click Hiring Workers. Click the New Hire Reporting Program. Click New Hire Reporting Requirements. Click the New Hire Reporting Program link within the text in the middle of the screen to proceed to the Pennsylvania New Hire Reporting Program homepage within the Pennsylvania CareerLink website. Click the appropriate link under the Ways to Report section to start the reporting process. Follow the instructions on the page to complete your reporting requirement. For additional questions on new hire reporting, please contact New Hire Customer Service by phone at 1-888-724-4737, by using the live chat feature provided on the program homepage, or by emailing the CareerLink office at ra-li-cwds-newhire@pa.gov. For additional services for employers on recruiting job seekers from the Pennsylvania Business One-Stop Shop website, click Operate. Click Hiring Workers, and then click Employer Services. In the text on the screen, click the PA Career Link to proceed to the Employer Services page within the PA Career Link website. Scroll down and click Request Assistance to proceed to the Request Staff Assistance page. Here, employers may report on services available to them. This concludes our video. If you still need assistance, please reach out to the Business One-Stop Shop at 833-722-6778 or at business.dced@pa.gov.